you are tuning in on, it would just be YouTube, I guess.
Yeah.
You might notice something different here. We have our first guest on today.
A special guest.
This is Hank. There was no reason to bring him today. Hanky, be polite. I just wanted to, and Caroline was cool with it. So if you're not logging on to YouTube, tune in so you'll see the dog. So welcome back to Couch Combos.
Welcome back. We took a little moment. Did you miss us? XOXO Gossip Girl.
I'd say I don't know if I missed podcasting, but
Yeah.
I missed sitting down and just like recollecting myself at work. Because I noticed that before I would just like come in, see clients, and leave.
Mm-hmm.
And the podcast is my good like middle ground to chill and kind of reconvene. So it's good to be back.
Well, and also with our caseloads being full, we don't get a lot of chat time. So this was kind of like our, hey, let's just sit and chat kind of thing.
Well, and I know that we talked about it briefly, but I feel like every holiday season, it's either a lot of cancellations or it's jam-packed. This year, it just felt packed.
Jam-packed, yeah.
And it wasn't quote-unquote small concerns. They were all really like big issues or just took a little bit more bandwidth. So I do like the fact that like, you know what, we took a month to kind of step away and just be present for our clients and for ourselves too, because we did have some like leftover bandwidth after clients, but you know, we deserve to use that on ourselves.
Yeah.
So practice what we preach over here.
For sure. We just need to take a little moment. So thank you guys for waiting. Oh, thanks for the lick. For waiting with us on our moment that we regathered.
Yeah. We hope that you liked our like throwback reels on our social media and things like that. It was kind of fun to revisit our past podcasts and also see like how much we've grown too.
Well, I was just thinking that this week when we decided, okay, let's do a podcast day. Let's start back up. I was like, oh my gosh, I've forgotten how to do this. How do we podcast? How do I even set everything up? And so I'm glad that Hank's here because I'm actually a little bit nervous. I'm having a vulnerable moment of feeling a little anxious with the podcast.
And what better way to diffuse tension than with a dog
a dog.
And okay, if you're just listening, Hank is about 1.5 years old and he's over 80 pounds. But thinks that he's 8 pounds. So right now he's on the couch in between us right now, just living his best life, smiling and panting. Thinking that he's tiny.
I truly hope. Oh yes, I truly hope that it can be heard through the mic too.
All the
just
love,
the panting, the love, the licks. Oh, I think he just licked the mic. Yeah. Okay, this is sweet.
We all just need a little bit of that diffusion.
We all need a little
sometimes.
Hank in our lives.
So okay, the topic today honestly came about in our break from the podcast. Because I noticed in a lot of social conversations personally and in conversations with clients professionally, the idea of comparison came up a lot. And even in our break, it came up of like, hey, like we're not going to crank out new content right now. Other people are like taking the time to release new content. They're kind of revealing new projects, everything. But it really brought up this idea of comparison.
Which is the thief of joy.
Yeah, no kidding.
So with thinking about like comparison, I know professionally we've seen a lot of it within the past year of us comparing ourselves to other places. And even they say, oh, you know, where do you want to go? And we have a specific counseling center that we're like, we want to be like them, that we've always said. But in reality, that takes away from all the effort and amazingness that we've put in because we're just constantly moving that bar. But for like personal life, where do you notice it creeping in with you?
Ooh. So much. I actually see it a lot in life stages right now. And I feel like you could relate a lot to this. Just because I'm just in a life stage and I feel like, I mean, obviously everyone is, but I've noticed a lot of people who are in different stages than I am are almost like one-upping, whether it's stress or joy.
Yeah.
So I've noticed a lot of that comparison of like, well, just wait until this happens and you'll actually be miserable, or just wait until that happens and you'll actually be happy. In both directions, it just doesn't feel great. So I've noticed that comparison in terms of life stage, but I also notice it in myself with the business. A big one that I like wanted to do this year is I say doing less in terms of energy. I still want to do the same amount of work, but with less energy and figure it out. Because I know we both talked about the fatigue of 2025 was our first calendar year in business. And towards the end of the year, I was like, wow, like super proud of how we did. but how do I do this again with more? By doing less.
By doing less, yeah.
What about you?
Yeah. Well, first of all, I just want to give a huge shout out to Sarah, because essentially, like, the October, November, December seasons, I was in the throes of school, and I had to look at her and be like, I truly don't have the bandwidth to do any more on top
of a huge victory.
Anything else. Yes, that's not something I typically do. And Sarah checked in with me frequently of, what can we take off your plate?
You said that in a very kind way. Meanwhile, I was like, I need to have an answer from you.
You tell me one thing we can't do.
Yes. You gave me dummy answers. It's like, no, a real one.
So she definitely leaned in hard on taking up a lot of things, which I appreciate.
Of course.
But for like me personally, I think honestly my time and my experiences, like especially right now, because either one, everyone has just finished getting married, so they're all on honeymoon, or they're having a job transition. Oof. Or there's some people that I'm like, what do you do? Because I never see you anywhere other than traveling the world. I'm like, I don't understand how you get to do that.
I love that.
That makes me a little bit jealous.
Yeah, no kidding.
So my comparison's been with, okay, what am I using my time to do? Because though I love what we do, it is so life-giving. We do sit in an office.
Yeah.
The same office. And when we have people back to back, sometimes the only time we get to leave is like for 5 minutes to go to the bathroom. And when I go on social media, which we'll get into that later, and then I see people going to like Bali and ooh, they're in Europe or even just at the beach. I'm like, am I wasting my time in life by working? And then I'm like,
it's funny. I actually thought about it. I was actually looking over payroll for 2025, and I was looking at how much money we collectively put back into the business. And I had the thought of, what if we found a conference somewhere really cool? Ooh. Because we have what we put back into the business, so what we earned, we could probably go somewhere.
Oh, for sure.
Hank.
Yes, Hank.
Someone is responding to your nervous system.
Let me lay on top of you.
So you know what? Maybe this year we like flirt with the idea of going somewhere.
Yeah, I think it's a great idea. What do you have to say about that, Hank? Hank's like, I want to go with you.
This is like a good indicator of the start of the year so far.
Yes.
So, okay, when we think about comparison, it is honestly just a nervous system response. Our body craves order and control. And so when things feel uncertain, our brain just wants to put things into boxes, into categories, and make it very black and white. Yeah. Which obviously leads to comparison very, very easily.
Right. Especially with the world that we live in right now, where it's like you cannot walk outside of your home or open your eyeballs without being around someone else saying what they're doing and either trying to sell you on doing it for you or just say like, you're not enough. You need to change something.
Absolutely.
But also with that too, it's this idea of sometimes comparison can like uproot a need that we're like maybe not meeting, but it just might not look the same as someone else's. And I think we get locked into the, oh, this person's traveling. Does that mean that I need to quit my job and go and travel? Which is where my head has gone to. But instead it's like, no, I think I just need to like go outside more during the day.
Yeah. Or like make sure when I'm on my weekends, I have enough energy to go out and do stuff if I want to, or stay in and not feel like I'm wasting my life away.
Exactly.
But I do agree with you. Sometimes even like small things, like when my husband travels for work, I'm like, man, you get to go to a conference.
I know.
Which is funny because then he'll look at me and he'll be like, it's not
the
that
worst.
Great. Yeah. He's like, it's not that great, I promise. And there's only so many ways you can eat the same conference food. But I'm like fascinated with it.
I am too. The corporate travel life. Yeah. I literally am like, what do you do?
I'm telling you, it's like Arthur Weasley's fascination with muggles. I am fascinated. I say it all the time with corporate life.
Yes, it is. It's very interesting.
Even though we watch it kill people all the time.
Yeah. Yeah. I want to see it from the outside. I don't want to be inside of it.
Correct.
Even though I guess, no, we're not corporate.
No,
we're just business.
We're just kind of there.
Small biz.
Yes, exactly.
But even when we look at comparison, of noticing like its impacts and, you know, it's been seen that like high levels of comparison can lead to anxiety, depression, chronic stress, which then can impact our cortisol levels and our, oh yeah, you just flipped my page. So there's like impacts mentally, emotionally, and physically too with all this. We talk about the whole person all the time. That's kind of our vibe.
Yeah.
And this definitely leans into it. And it's important to recognize that this is not just a scrolling on Instagram thing.
Right. So, okay, what does your body typically do in response to like when you fall into that comparison trap, whether you are comparing or someone is like comparing at you?
I tend to get, honestly, the physical symptoms of like anger.
Sure.
I start sweating and I start to like turn really red and my heart starts to race. And then I get like jittery, like I need to get up, I need to go do something, I need to change right now.
Sure.
Start second guessing myself. My thoughts are just running wild.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't say that I am angry. It's more just I think probably it's the feelings of anxiety and anger.
Like your body is just in that state of agitation.
Yes. Of just like, take me somewhere.
This is super nerdy, but what just came to mind is when you see visuals of water molecules in a microwave. When they're just just vibrating. Yes, that's kind of what comes to mind for me. It's so random, but
our brains work so different because I went to like that chicken in Moana.
Hey.
It's like, and then walk off the boat.
But it's so true.
Just like
I always reference Olaf when he's impaled, and he just goes, "Oh, I've been impaled." That's how I process stress.
Amazing.
But I think like in terms of my body's response to comparison, it's a recent change. I want to flee.
Oh,
like I had that happen. What's today? Friday?
Yeah.
Less than a week ago.
Okay.
When like I had that experience, and my body was like, "No, I'm out. Like I'm just gonna go," which I'm actually very proud of because it didn't impact me as much. Yeah. I just wanted to remove myself from the situation. Right. So I guess it was that need to immediately set a boundary physically.
Yeah, like a physical boundary.
So I guess that was my body perceived a threat.
And it responded accordingly.
So shout out to my body. Also, thank you guys in advance. I'm getting over being sick. So my goal of staying well through the holidays did not pan out, but we're trying.
Yeah. Speaking of goals, I thought about this the other day. I believe we mentioned this in the podcast with our 2025 like bingo card essentially, because we didn't do resolutions, we did bingo cards. We hit
so many.
I think over half of them.
We did. And
there's even some on there that we could still click off, like take 2 days off, because I think we both took 2 days off. We both did, right? Look at us. So that's a mini win.
We did a great job.
But so these two, I feel like are really encapsulate like body cues of what it looks like when we are in that comparison mode and our nervous system is going out of its window of tolerance, telling us, hey, you're in fight, flight, freeze, fawn, or fib. Of like having that restlessness, that tight chest, the like racing thoughts. Honestly, there's one like urgency to justify yourself. Yes. Well, this is why I'm thinking this. Or like not really feeling settled in your space of, okay, I think I need to go and do something different.
Absolutely. I actually think it'd be interesting to kind of poll our listeners. So if you are listening and you feel comfortable, comment wherever you're listening, whether it's on Spotify, because you can comment there. If it's on Apple, I don't know if we can comment on Apple Podcasts.
I don't know about that one.
But like pop over to YouTube or our Instagram. Give us a comment about the age range you're in and how your body responds to comparison. Because I actually remember me in college, I felt the need to rearrange my space. Like I remember like waking up and just like changing things and like
recondo everything.
Yes, is that her name? Yes. Yeah. So the space would be just like reoriented. Yeah. So I'd be interested to see like what that reaction is like in your body depending on your age range.
Yeah, that would be interesting. Okay, so I just love the solid eye contact.
It's such a great distraction in a good way.
I think it's our upstairs. Phenomenal. We'll bring Penny on and she'll just shake in anxiety in my lap.
I mean, we did have a goal to have guests on the podcast, so we technically have our first guest.
So maybe that'll actually be a 2026 thing, is we will have dogs and potentially a human on the pod.
We flirted with one idea, and that specific guest asked me yesterday of like,
really?
When are the two of us supposed to come on the podcast? And I was like, I don't know, maybe soon.
Well, I can tell you this, there might be a change in the other guest's schedule in the near future.
Well, there we go.
So things are just lighting up.
There we go. So, okay, when we think about comparison, I don't want it to seem like it's always bad. Because
Right.
I do think that like comparison can be a great way to just kind of find your position in something.
Mm-hmm.
Hey. So comparison can be a great tool to just find perspective.
Mm-hmm.
But I do think more often than not, it's a weapon.
Right.
And it is weaponized.
Yeah.
And it can be done in a few different ways too.
Yeah.
It's obviously comparing like your wins, milestones, even productivity. Like I even think about, we actually talked about it recently, in like former places of employment being pit against each other in terms of output and productivity.
Yeah. Which then can take away from that feeling of like, oh, I'm just doing well.
Yeah.
And instead be like, no, this is going to push you to do even better, which then makes you feel like you're never doing well.
Yeah. And it's like, oh, all of a sudden I'm behind. It's like, wait, no, I'm not behind. I'm exhausted. I'm doing great.
Yeah.
Well, it's also this idea of like, it makes us feel like we're unworthy of anything. Like if you're comparing great milestones, you feel like you're not worthy of rest or that your milestone wasn't enough. Or if you're comparing suffering, that you're not worthy of like thinking that it's suffering and you're not worthy of like taking a break or even asking for help.
Yeah.
I coined it the Suffering Olympics when I was thinking about this podcast because that's what it kind of felt like.
The one-upping of, oh, mine is not valid enough because other people are quote unquote suffering more than me or have a harder time in life, or like I'm not in this phase where I even understand what suffering looks like. It's just constantly, I don't know, that judgment based on like, you haven't experienced this, so you actually don't know.
I think that's like one of the most unifying threads that I see personally and professionally are people saying, well, I don't want to reach out because they've got this going on.
Right.
I'm like,
I don't want to let them know how I'm feeling because they have their own stuff.
Right. And it's like, hey, I don't know how many times I've said this as a person, as a therapist. People will always have something.
Yep.
They will always have something going on.
Yep.
And if you feel like you cannot also take up space, like have that conversation with yourself, have that conversation with them, but also think about like you're already minimizing yourself before you even tried, before you even start.
You're also taking away the autonomy of the other person to say, hey, I want to be here for you.
Right.
Of like, there's so many times that I've decided, no, I'm just not going to tell because they've got stuff. And then that person had no idea. And I took away the ability for us to connect and truly have that moment. So there's all of that. And recognizing that, like, it's not something of we only have a small amount of wins or a small amount of pain or whatever it is, of like, you can both have it at the same time. Two things can be true of I can be struggling and the other person can be struggling. I can be winning and the other person can be winning. It doesn't take away from one another. We can exist all at the same point, at the same time.
Well, and also like reminding yourself of we are in a world and our brains are also hardwired for all or nothing thinking and very black and white ways of being, which automatically makes us feel like everything is going well or everything is bad.
Right.
And if we allow ourselves to experience pain and win at the same time alongside someone else, we are automatically rewiring that cognition of, hold on, multiple things can be true at the same time, even if it's in that gray area. And I think that's a really powerful way of trying.
Recognizing those cognitive distortions.
Yeah.
All or nothing.
Yes.
Always or never.
Gray area thinking is so hard to master. And it's a forever act and behavior.
Yeah. And I mean, understood, valid, because it's uncomfortable. We like to have answers. Gray is like, oh, maybe there is no answer. It just is.
Absolutely.
And that's so hard. So like when you think about when you are struggling personally, and I feel like I already know this answer for both of us, do you tend to minimize or over explain?
So it depends on who I'm talking to.
Okay.
So I'm going to separate this into my husband and then everybody else.
Yep.
Because as I've gotten older, I've turned into a very, very private person. Excuse me. So I think when I talk to my husband, which I just define as like my innermost person, I will typically try to like over justify something. And it gets to the point where I'm like, oh, I'm so sorry I have to tell you this thing. I just want to make sure that like it's valid enough for me to look for support. But then for everybody else, I usually just kind of minimize and I'm like, no, it's not that bad. I'm okay. Which I think is just my own denial coming in or just like not wanting to be a burden. So what about you?
Yeah. I'd say same, but I would tack in my parents for the over explaining.
Yeah.
I looked at actually looked at Kyle yesterday and I said, you were just pissing me off this week. And this poor man, he was like, I'm so sorry. I said, no apologies needed. This is 100% a me thing.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure we are in a season of life, ladies, you guys know, of where my emotions and my hormones are going a little wacky.
The luteal phase.
Yes.
The luteal phase.
And I was like, and literally I walked in
Yeah.
and I saw one of your little, he likes to twist things. He likes to have
Just fidget.
Yeah, he's a fidgeter.
Yeah.
And he just leaves them all around the house.
Yeah.
And so I came in, I saw one, and it just took me into a tailspin.
Don't blame you.
Yeah.
It happens.
And I was like,
happens.
okay, here's where I think I'm at. This is what's going on. So I was definitely over-explaining.
Yeah.
But I think I was doing that, honestly, to not make him feel bad.
Mm-hmm.
And I do that with my parents just so that they can see me from a different perspective. Because they see me as a kid who sometimes doesn't always know things.
Forever 5-year-old.
Yes. And so I'm like, hey, no, I'm actually like really aligning with these thoughts and these feelings right now.
Mm-hmm.
But for everyone else, 100%, I don't have any issues ever.
Yeah. And then sometimes I actually feel really bad because once in a while, it always happens when I'm like catching up with one of my friends who I don't talk to for a few months at a time. We catch up and then rinse and repeat. I just have more of those friends than like my everyday at this point, just with life.
Right.
And I'll like talk to them about like what's been going on, catching up. And they'll just look at me with like almost deer in headlights of like, oh my gosh, like, why didn't you tell me?
Yeah.
And then I feel bad for 2 reasons. One of, wow, I robbed this person of supporting me. And 2 of like, I think I hurt their feelings. And also, why didn't I reach out? I have a great connection. Why didn't I do this? Yeah. But again, it's comparing. It's like this, well, why would I interrupt their day? It's like, because they love you. That's why.
Right.
It's not much more than that.
Yeah. And so with that, when we think of like the emotional load of comparison, of recognizing that it robs us from those experiences of true joy or of like experiencing and validating our pain and like our struggle, of when we are constantly saying, no, this person has it worse, or no, I don't want to upset this person, or no, I'm not doing as much as they are, then it's really attacking our confidence and our self-esteem.
So, and this is kind of going off track. Has there been a time where you have eliminated comparison and you've had those like human to human moments and you notice like, wow, this actually feels really healing?
Yes, definitely. I would say the biggest one is a conversation that I did have with Kyle where I was like, but it was actually around cars. And I just cried and I was like, I just really want this. And I did, all this. And we were able to have such a vulnerable moment of, hey, we are doing extremely well, but we have to think about the future and recognize that there's some things that like we make different decisions on. That doesn't take away from like how well we're doing. Because my whole thing was, I've worked so hard. I'm buying a new car, you guys. I've worked so hard and I've saved all of this money and I want to be able to use it the way that I want to use it. I was honestly just being a little bit like not managing and recognizing that I have put a lot of effort into this work lately. And I never actually sat with this idea of, wow, I've been working really hard. And instead it's been for a purpose. And when that purpose didn't come to fruition in the way that I thought it would,
it's such a hard crash.
Then I was like, well, why have I been doing all of this?
Right. Why bother?
So that was a really good like connecting point for us to be like, okay, you supported me extremely well in this moment. Thank you. And then 2, like, I got to realize that like, okay, when I have that joy of really sitting with that joy and saying, oh yeah, I am working hard, giving myself a little bit of credit.
When it also just when you finally feel that relief of not comparing anymore, it's like you put on noise canceling headphones and it's like, oh, you can breathe.
I can just be authentically me.
I love that.
But yes, so like, and there's this idea of, we talk about this in therapy all the time, of like our felt self, of our authentic being. I've actually been doing a lot of ACT work. Okay. Acceptance and commitment therapy work. And with that, of it's going into like our values and who we are. And when we take out that aspect of us and put it onto someone else, it's invalidating our own space and our own environment.
It is. And like our truth too. I actually had a conversation about this a few months ago, and I feel like you would appreciate it. I was catching up with my friend, and there was a few year span where I was getting married and then she was getting married, and we were highly involved in each other's weddings, and all of a sudden it's not anymore. We're both married, we're both figuring it out. It's been a while, it's great. and we were catching up, and we were both laughing. And it makes me very appreciative for having like ladies like this in my life, because we both laughed and we both looked at each other and we thought we had horrible engagements. And we both just kind of looked at each other, and it was one of those where like it was over dinner, so you know.
You were enjoying yourselves.
It was a cheese themed restaurant.
Oh, so you had the dairy flowing.
Oh, we had this like lactase chocolate beforehand. It was so good. But like they had like wine pairings for all of the. Oh, I'm such a foodie too. It was amazing.
So lovely.
Oh, it was so good. But like we looked at each other and we were like, wow, we both had really horrible engagements. And we were talking about just like how they were both very different in what was stressful. But it was also that moment where like we weren't comparing what was stressful about our engagements. Yeah. We were honestly laughing. And we were both like, wow, we got through that. And we also just talked about like how it was a trial by fire for both of our marriages, and we're proud of how we got through it. But then also like friends of ours who have had lovely engagements, and it feels really good. But in those moments, it was so good because taking the comparison away didn't separate us from our felt self. Yeah. Because we got to accept this was really hard. But then we also got to balance it with like, yours was too. Yeah. And maybe there was a trauma bond there. I don't know. But also it also made us really appreciate like what came out of it too. Yeah.
And it felt so good, I'm sure, to just be like, I'm glad we could both talk about this and it not be, oh, mine is worse than yours.
Yeah, not at all. Yeah. And it really does make me grateful because I now notice, and I hope that like listeners can pick this up too, comparison doesn't have to exist in all of your relationships. Yeah. There might be certain relationships where it exists more. That was a thought I had when I had to check in with myself recently of why do I always feel like this? And I had to remember, I actually think it's the person I'm talking to who it's either bringing up an insecurity in them or an insecurity in me. And so comparison might just be there a little bit more versus other relationships where it's like, no, comparison has left the chat. Like it's just not going to be there and it's okay.
Right. So when we think about our clients, where have you noticed most of this, especially in this season?
Yeah. So I noticed it a lot with people starting the new year and wanting to set resolutions, and they're comparing themselves now to last January, and they're putting themselves down, or they're looking at people's like yearly recaps. And for people that post yearly recaps, I'm sure it's great. I don't do it for my own reasons, right? But it's also this idea that a lot of our clients are coming in and they're saying, I feel like I've lost before I've started. And they're like, well, what do I do when everyone around me is saying, okay, new year, new me, but also look at all the things I've done. So I notice that a lot with clients right now of they're just this feeling, the self-fulfilling prophecy of I'm supposed to be doing all these great things for myself, but my messaging socially and on social media just says otherwise. Right. What do you see?
Yeah. So we're coming off of the holidays, of course. Where we spent a lot of time with family. So there's a lot of family things of even just readdressing, oh, my family looks a little bit different this year. So comparing past family experiences to now with where we are now, but then also with like other people's families. Yeah. I went and I spent time with this person and it was so lovely and they really enjoy being around their family, but I just don't in mine. So a lot of that, a lot of financial comparisons of what that looks like. And then of course, like the timelines.
Yeah, absolutely.
Especially right now with baby season, engagement season, travel season,
a lot of those
job
change,
came up. Even like job promotions of people like, I just don't understand how this person has all this and I don't. Yeah. And it honestly just hurts the soul. Also because like been through it.
Yeah. And
felt
like,
it. Yeah.
That's when the real person can come in and say like, I get it. And it's even interesting knowing that who we are right now may have triggered that in a past version of yourself too. Yeah. Because like who we are right now, a few years ago, we could have been like, well, they are left and they have their own practice now and they've got it all together and they're like staying in control of their schedule, but that's just normal for us. Yeah. So it's hard.
It is hard. So yeah, that's I think where I see it coming up. But so then when we're working with others or even just working with ourselves or having a conversation with someone else and we notice that this comparison is coming up and it's bringing about that shame. Yeah. Yeah. You can come on up. He's clocking into all the things right now.
Yeah. There's a lot of sounds upstairs.
Because, of course, just saying, like, well, just don't do that.
Right. Yeah, that doesn't work.
Like, it just don't.
No.
Of, like, naming it, you guys. We say it all the time. I think it's our catchphrase, one of
name it to
tame
tame
it to tame it. Of you gotta bring it out.
Yeah.
You've gotta sit with it. And that means literally sometimes just saying, okay, I'm feeling like I am comparing myself to this person.
Absolutely.
Or I'm feeling the judgment of this. I'm feeling the shame coming up within me. And then shifting that language from like, this person's doing better or they're doing worse. And instead it just
it's different.
It's just different.
It's just different. It's just like, it's neutralizing. It's like, why do I have so many science puns and science thoughts today? It's like we're looking at acids and bases, you know? We're just neutralizing them a little bit. We're bringing it back to center. Because the fact of the matter is, you might define something as better or worse based on somebody else. They might not agree with you.
Right.
They might say like, well, I wish I had it with you. Or I do feel like you have it better. And they might not agree.
They're comparing the other way. In the same way that like, I wish my hair was more curly instead of straight. Sarah looks at me and is like, I wish I had straighter hair instead of curl. So it's all based on perspective. So assuming that, oh, their life is so much better than mine, that's 100% taking out what's actually going on.
Well, and I think that like I wish that we could really take that pause too. And something that I would really encourage people is, there's more likely than not, we have received comparison, but we've also given comparison to people before. Maybe it's intentional, maybe it's not. If you are hearing this and you think, wow, like I do actually compare my suffering or my joys to people all the time, check in with you. Because more often than not, this is the parts work part of me, you're trying to protect something in you, or something feels exposed or threatened, but you feel the need to over justify. And it's this idea of, hey, if you don't feel like you're adequate in this part of your life, why do you feel the need to bring somebody down? Or boost somebody up or compare that? And giving yourself that self-compassion, and again, neutralizing it, bringing it back to the just different space. If you give comparison more, and if you receive comparison, maybe thinking about having that conversation with somebody and just saying, hey, I don't know what you meant by that, but that didn't sit well. Or like, that kind of hurt. Or even, I think mine personally is like, huh?
What?
What do you mean by that?
What's going on there? Becoming curious about it. But of remembering that we have got to take a moment to regulate ourselves down before making a response, before having a response of, okay, I'm just going to give myself a second before I go into any kind of change. And I'm just going to regulate through this and see, okay, is this my body's natural reaction to a need not being met? Or am I actually in danger? More than likely, it is number one.
It's true.
And of moving into, there are some things that are within our control, such as who we follow on social media. And if you don't want to hit them with that unfollow or that block, just hit them with the mute.
It's a great button.
It is. It's a great button.
I use it all the time.
They don't know.
No.
You won't know after you've done it. But
probably forget.
You'll probably be like, oh, I forgot I muted this human. And that's for, people in personal life as well as social media models, all of those things, the travel experts. If you just need a little break ski, you can take a little break ski.
I love that. And I think it's also this idea of interrupting comparison and taking that moment. So for you, what helps you interrupt that comparison personally? Because I know we talked about great interventions and tools with clients, but what do you do personally that helps just stop that thought process from the spiral?
So this is a slippery slope. So when you guys hear this, recognize that I've, done the work with this, and this is not meant to attack myself. But I like to point out my differences between the person and me, of just like our life circumstance, and saying, okay, yep, this is my current life without judgment. This is potentially why this is not happening in this capacity, and like validating that. Like, that's okay. That's good. Look at, your circumstance with work or your partner, your friends, whatever it is, of just pointing out those moments of, okay, here's how we're similar, but also here's how we don't live the same life, and it's not authentic to me. And then I like to move into, after I like validate my own experience, of finding those moments of like gratitude in what I do have, of switching that. And this is not in a, you got to suck it up because you actually have it really well.
It's not toxic positivity.
No, it's more just saying like, okay, I'm really struggling with travel. We have a trip that's coming up. We don't actually, but like,
where are you going?
No. This just an example of like, oh, we have this coming up in the near future. I have this to look forward to, because I tend to get into the always or never mindset with myself. And so I like to point out what disrupts that of like, no, it's not always. It's not never. It's just, I'm kind of just having a moment right now.
Absolutely.
And I got to give myself space, validate it, and find some gratitude in the moment with me. How about you?
I look for patterns. I think that, I don't know what it is. I guess it's just like the older I've gotten, the more like data driven I am, which is so black and white. But I think
I feel like there's been a switch
big
there.
switch.
Yeah.
I've gotten to look for patterns. And so like, I know recently I've had to check in with myself of why do I feel like I'm receiving comparison so much? And then I have to kind of like pause and say, have I felt it often or when's the last time I felt it? And I actually had to realize like, oh, I actually felt a lot with a specific person in my life. And that doesn't mean like, oh, you got to cut them out or honestly not necessarily need a boundary because sometimes it might not be useful. But for me, it was, okay, if I know I'm getting a lot of comparisons at me with this person, maybe I just don't let them in as much as other friends. And that's okay. And so I think it's kind of taking that second, looking for patterns. Or if I notice I am the constant, it's saying, am I feeling insecure about something? Is something coming up that I'm giving to a friend, giving to a family member? If you haven't looked, Hank is
full belly up.
He is belly up, paws up.
Getting all the snuggles for
feeling
Sarah
good.
Right now.
He's such a good boy.
He is.
And so I think it's that. Also for me, I had to do a big cleanse about who I'm exposing myself to on social media. Because, and I actually don't think that we realize it, we are around tools for comparison every single hour of every workday. Because I mean, it would be so easy for us to say, well, I have it fine because I was around 3 people in crisis, 2 people almost in crisis, and 1 person that just left a crisis. We could say that every single day. And work-life balance really helps with that too. So really just kind of turning that part of my brain off because it's like, yeah, I'm around people in crisis all the time, but that's a gift and that's a privilege. And that means nothing about my life right now because it's just a different hat that I wear.
Right.
Yeah, that's right.
And I think something that you also remind yourself, and I hope that if people give comparison, remind yourself, and I always kind of take it back to like high school me. I just remember when I was taking finals in high school, it was worth 15% of my grade. As an adult now, I'm like, that's nothing.
Right.
But I just remember it felt so big in high school. And at one point, like my brother and his girlfriend came home from college and they were saying, hey, they were like, Sarah, why are you so stressed? And I said, oh, I've got a final. It's 15% of my grade. They were at Georgia Tech where their finals were like 80% of their grade.
Right. It's like the only reason they showed up to class
was
to take a final.
Or like there were some classes where they were all on a curve with each other. So like the highest grade in the class was 100 and the lowest was a 0 and then everyone else filed in.
Right.
And I just remember those moments. But it's like, hey, that stress that I had as a high schooler was the same amount of stress I had as a college student.
Yeah.
And so even though you can use the tool for comparison, it only does harm. And you have to validate that distress is distress.
Right.
There's nothing that's better or worse.
Yeah. And checking in with yourself of sometimes there's a need there. And like maybe it's a need that needs to be acted upon or maybe it's just something that we're trying to just recognize of finding what's authentic to us. Like, okay, what would this look like for me? Of realizing that the need is extremely valid, but the comparison, that part of the story is optional.
Like, why? It's an accessory that we might not need to have.
Yeah.
Some accessories are great. Others?
Right. Be like Coco Chanel. Before you leave the house, take one thing off.
I love that. So, okay, for this next part, I had a lot of fun doing this. I created drink orders based on
These are super fun.
The different kinds of comparisons. So we're kind of going to go down the line. First one is a black coffee. That is someone who measures their worth through productivity and endurance. Stop looking at me. You're always tracking who and what's ahead, and you're secretly exhausted, but you resist slowing down. And the core fear for that black coffee orderer is if I slow down, I will fall behind or I have just failed. Oof.
So next one is the Diet Coke. Looks fine on the outside, but minimizes needs internally, avoids taking up space while staying palatable. Direct eye contact. Core fear is I'm not allowed to need more.
I love a good crispy Diet Coke.
Yeah.
I have
I've never had a Diet Coke.
Really?
Never. what was that? He just said, you need to try one.
And then next one is extra sour lemonade. And it's that the pain has to be really, really intense to even count. And you typically go up suffering just to feel seen or feel validated.
Yep.
And that core fear is if it doesn't hurt enough, it doesn't actually matter.
Right.
Oh,
sorry, y'all. I'm getting all the love. This is just giving me life. Okay, so next one, and I do love a good matcha.
Do you really?
I do.
It tastes like dirt to me.
What? Well, it's kind of like the whole basil thing of does it taste like
cilantro?
soap or that's what it is, cilantro.
I have the soapy cilantro gene.
I do too.
Twinkies. I pretend like I like it all the time.
But you put a little lavender in matcha, even better. But anywho, so matcha, wellness coded and aesthetically regulated, turns healing and joy into a quote unquote vibe and into a performance. Core fear is being ordinary means being invisible.
So, and I do want to kind of spotlight this matcha because you will see this kind of comparison a lot at this time of year because you will see people who are making it aesthetic or they're romanticizing what is going on and they're kind of making everything into literally a performance or a challenge or like this is our wellness era, but they're just comparing the whole time.
Right.
I see a lot of like the yearly recaps as this like matcha archetype. And then obviously we have the giant water, which we both have.
Yeah.
And the giant water is just really scanning, constantly preparing and analyzing what's going on. And it's mistaking hypervigilance for safety. So it's not just like this, I have to make sure I'm safe all the time. It's distressing. And there's that core fear of if I stay alert, I just won't get hurt.
Yeah.
If I'm constantly,
what a rhyme.
Look at me. If my head's always on a swivel, like it's going to be fine no matter what.
I see that a lot in clients.
Yeah.
I feel like when I think
With
about,
trauma.
like our trauma and our perfectionism, people pleasers of they're carrying their Stanleys. Yeah. Multiple Stanleys.
Even like the giant, remember it was a few years ago?
Bubba keg or Bubba jug?
Oh, yes. And then you would decorate it.
Yeah.
I think it was a few years ago. They had like the really massive ones and you'd put like the times of day on the giant waters too.
Yeah.
That's what I think of with that one. So, okay, where do you feel most called out?
Well, I think we probably already called one another to the table with these. Mine is definitely the Diet Coke. Yeah, I'm a Diet Coke. Of like, where everything's fine. And usually you'll know that things are not fine when I go, no, things are good. That's like my catchphrase is the deep sigh.
Even the body language you just used in saying that was spot on.
The elevated in like my voice and then like the head nod and my T-Rex arm. That's
or
what happens.
Rolling up with the cold brew.
Oh,
I appreciate that you called it out though.
I did.
Because that was your way of saying it without actually being vulnerable.
Right. Yes, I did. I'm trying to take. That was a micro moment.
We had a scheduling snafu.
We did. We had a scheduling snafu,
That's
and I was like, okay, we're gonna roll with this.
We're gonna learn.
Yeah,
and it just takes one.
So tell me about your coffee order.
Yeah, the black coffee is me to a T. I noticed it. So it actually happened last month, and I will completely call myself out for this one. I was really sick in December. I had a few weeks where it was like literally one thing after the other. Not super sure what happened. It was like 3 different illnesses right after each other.
Yeah.
Caveat, if you work in healthcare or you're just like in the wellness space and you have good like immune supplements,
shoot them in the comments.
let us know.
Yeah.
I just got like a new like elderberry zinc vitamin C kind of thing.
Elderberry.
And it's a gummy.
Oh,
I know.
Gummies.
Because I already take a lot of like
best.
supplements.
Right.
So it was nice
I
to
want
have
to chew something.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like candy.
It
candy.
Tastes really good.
Yeah.
So if anyone has any good recommendations, let me know. But I think it's so... Sorry, I got distracted. So last month I got a really bad like GI bug, and one of those where like it hit in the middle of the night, and I spent the night on the bathroom floor. It had been a while since I had spent the night on the bathroom floor. It had been a long time,
and this is the day before was not as fun.
There was no fun.
Yeah.
But I just remember it was 4:30 in the morning, and I was like, "Oh no, I don't think I can work today." That was my first thought. It wasn't, "I think I'm gonna pass out."
Yeah.
Or like, "Ooh, I should probably tell my husband I'm gonna pass out." It was, "I don't think I can work today." And what happens if I can't work for one day?
Mm-hmm.
And the worst part was, an hour later, I said, maybe I can
think
work
I can.
today. It was interesting. And this was a boundary set for myself.
Uh-huh.
I scheduled a text to go out to you.
Was it scheduled?
It was. When I texted you,
Mhm.
hey, I really need help canceling all my clients, which was a huge deal for me.
Yeah.
Because I felt so bad. Because I had a lot of folks lined up to see that day.
Uh-huh.
I felt so bad. I scheduled it to send. And I was like, Sarah, do not delete this text.
She will go out.
But it was one of those where like I was using comparison
Yeah.
against myself
Mm-hmm.
to say like, no, you're actually fine.
45 minutes, you have not vommed.
Right.
You should be able to see a human.
It was
And
more
it's
like 4 minutes.
Yeah. Yeah.
How's the black coffee coming through?
Yeah.
We're going to do less now. So, okay. We really want to kind of take this idea of comparison and step off the freaking scoreboard.
Mm.
And if someone has this idea of like, you want the new year to actually be about yourself, have a goal about comparison and get away from the scoreboard. Ask yourself of like, where does it exist? Where does it not exist? How can I step away?
Mm-hmm. And guys, two things can be true.
Yes.
I know that it's, and especially with my girlies out there.
Especially for women.
Yes. Of like, and especially with physical views of self, of you guys, we can look fine and feel good in our bodies and be amazing and a phenomenal like partner, friend, all the things, and someone else can be too, and it be completely different than us, and that is okay.
Well, especially like you get a little bit of help if your frontal lobe is developed.
Right.
It's gotten a lot easier in the years since frontal lobe has developed.
Very true.
So if your frontal lobe isn't developed, especially if you're a teenager, this will be harder. That does not mean you're a quote unquote crazy.
Right.
Doesn't mean you're losing it.
Nope.
It just means you're looking for control.
Yes.
And you're looking for validation.
And parents out there, parents of teenagers, we're not going to put the other human down, but instead saying like,
it's just
yeah, you're right. She is, or he is, blah, blah, blah. But hey, so are you.
Good for them.
What about all of these things that you love about you? Of like, we don't have to cancel another person in order to bring the other person up. They can both be brought up at the same exact time.
Exactly. And just like shifting into that more like self-attunement so that we can recognize the tension and the steadiness, and we can have a little bit more neutrality in our life.
Yeah.
So we're less of the water molecules buzzing in the microwave and we're just kind of chilling.
We're not hey-haying.
I love that chicken.
Just walk straight off. So, okay. Questions to reflect on when we're in the midst of that spiral.
Yes.
Maybe we have noticed it. Maybe we haven't noticed it. But when you start to feel those changes in your body, just take a moment. And maybe we ask ourselves, okay, what would it feel like to let our experience be enough? What would that be like? Be interesting.
Wild.
Huh. Or, like, what comparison are you ready to loosen your grip on? Maybe in what areas... Yes, Hank, I'm talking to you. Of like, what are we okay to let go of? Yeah. And let's be frank. You being like, okay, I'm gonna sit down, take a day, and I'm gonna let go of all of these comparisons.
Everything. No friends.
You are a human, so
it's gonna happen.
If we miss it,
and that's okay.
If we quote unquote let ourselves down by not finding it, that's a human moment, and it's totally valid and acceptable. We all do it.
That it is.
Yeah. And then, what are you leaving behind, and what are you making space for?
Because especially like when you stop comparing, you make space for so much more fun.
Yeah.
And just wiggle room and breathing room.
Yeah.
And it's just so freeing.
And you just get to align with you.
Yes.
And that is so beautiful.
And this is a forever balance. And comparison will look different in different life stages too. I see, especially with like, I'm going to say it, like women comparing themselves to other women, especially in motherhood. And like, well, this person's a better mom. This person's a worse mom. Yep. I see it all the time on social media. I think that's just my algorithm right now. What if we just acknowledge that birthing or taking care of a human or all of the above is a lot?
Yeah.
And just keep it at that.
Right.
Just like my friend and I over our cheese dishes, talking about how tumultuous our engagements were.
Yeah.
And we just kind of laughed and cheers. And that was it.
Yeah. And then that was enough.
Yeah. And that was a great bonding moment to be like, ooh, we're done now.
Okay. Now we move forward.
And plus, like, you deserve to have the neutrality and the breathing space away from comparison.
You also deserve to live your life.
Yeah.
And be you in your life and not have to feel like you have to be someone else in your own life. But anywho.
First episode back.
Woohoo!
Thanks for
and
hanging out with us.
Yeah, I'm gonna consider this our season 2.
Yeah.
Also.
I love that.
So episode 1 of season 2, you guys. We're a real podcast.
Thanks for hanging with us.
Oh.
And as Hank gives Caroline loves, once again, Couch Convos is not a substitute for therapy. And if you find yourself in immediate danger or crisis, please call 911, 988, go to your closest emergency room and get the help that you so well deserve.
Yes, and if you enjoy listening to us and you're like, hey, I would love to work with those awesome humans, as well as Sarah, who is not with us but is with us, visit us on www.soulhavengeorgia.com. We also have a pretty bomb Instagram, TikTok, all the things. Like, subscribe, comment. We want to be on your algorithm for forever.
And if you have any suggestions or ideas for future podcast episodes, let us know. We want to hear from you.
Yeah.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.